Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, I know most of you know exactly what's on the screen right now, but so there obviously is the hit game of Among Us. I have to admit, downloaded it myself and played it plenty of times. So if this is something that you like, you'll definitely probably like this assignment. So what we're going to be doing is, if you notice, a lot of the characters that are in this are very plain, really simple drawings of the characters. Okay, and when you're creating a game such as Among Us, you actually create vector art that is then inserted inside of the game. So then this way, no matter where it is positionally inside the game, the character works. Whether it's a little bit closer to you or further away, whatever it is, whatever size it is, the character is essentially the same thing throughout. So let's actually talk about how to make something along this or these lines about these types of characters. So in this project, we are actually physically going to be drawing a character like this. I'm going to provide you with your tools that you are going to use for this. So there's a couple things that we're going to use. So actually, if I were to zoom out, which I'm going to do right now, I have a couple resources for you. First resource is I actually have a image that consists of 9 different versions of the same exact character. You can see they're all the same. They all have the same basic simple layout. And the way that that layout is that they have the backpack. And then with the color design, basically what it is each of the characters is created by putting a backpack on, and then there's 2 different colors. There's a darker version of the pink and a lighter version of the pink right here. And then on the eye, you can see it's basically the same kind of like tealish gray, a little bit lighter of a color, and then like a bluish gray, and then a white. So you can see the eyes basically are set up the same for all of them. So changing these around, we can actually make a number of characters very easily, because all we have to do is just change the basic color scheme of the actual character itself. The other resource that I'm going to provide you is this image here that actually has a bunch of other versions. Obviously, the one carrying the knife, the dead version of the Among Us character, the ghost version of the characters, things like that. So there's a different variation for each of them. So they're all 4 different versions of each of the characters, essentially, if you want to think of it that way. So let's actually talk about what we're going to do with this stuff, though. So first off, I am going to give you an image like this. And it is going to be exactly like this that's on our page. Let me actually hit fit so it zooms in a little bit. Oops, sorry. So what we are going to do is you are going to pick which one you want to do. It can be any color of these, or you can choose your own variation. Obviously, Among Us has a set number of colors, just because obviously there can only be 10 characters in a room anyway, so they only have 10 colors for you to pick from. So in our case, you just have to manipulate this image so only one is showing. And this is how we're going to do that. The first thing you're going to do is make sure that you are on the select tool. You are going to double click on your image, and you are going to grab see this black bar that's here on the corner? You're going to grab that and you're going to drag it so you only see one character. And in a second, you're going to see my version. So after we do that, position your character so it is in the center of that selection. You can see the black bar right there, and it's all the way around. You are going to make sure that that is in the center. Okay. If you choose, say, you want to do the blue or the pink one or the yellow one, all you have to do is just drag it around and select. So say we're doing the pink one. I am going to then hit the enter button. That is going to have it where only now that one is going to be showing. Okay. So you can actually see my final version right here. I'll just pull this off to the side so we can take a look at it over here, and you'll see how I do it. You can see, hey, this is my first attempt at it, so it's a little off because you can see a lot of like little points here. But if we were to actually zoom into some of these drawings here, they're not always smooth. So actually, I'm not that far off. So now what we're going to do is we are going to increase the size by now grabbing this corner and dragging it all the way out. Now, because I'm giving you the page, it should already be in the exact dimensions that you need. You're going to notice that if for some reason you ever have to change the dimensions of your page, like say, like you wanted to do a pet and you didn't want to decrease the size of our character here, like I just did, if you wanted to keep it the same, you could always go up to File, Page Setup, and then just increase the width of the page if you wanted to have it so this way you had the pet or a dead body behind, whatever it may be. So I'm going to hit cancel because I'm not going to worry about that right now. So now when we are doing this, what we have to do is we have to think of that furthest away from us to closest to us mentality. Do the things that are in the background and then move forward towards the front. Because we're working on a layered project, that's why it's important. So basically, whatever I put down first, that's going to be in the back. So as I analyze this character, I'm going to realize that this backpack is behind the main character, the body of the character, and then the eye area is it now in front of that one. Or in front of that part of the body. So I'm going to work in that order: backpack, body, eye. So let's start on this one first. Now, what I like to do is when I'm dealing with a area like this, where this is behind this, I'm going to sneak over and come to the side a little bit, the back, or like the side that would be blocked, where I don't have to worry about what it looks like, only so then this way I don't have to be absolutely perfect when I go to draw that side of it, versus this side, obviously I'm going to be a little more perfect. I'm going to shoot right down the middle of this line and I'm going to trace it. Now, I did make one little mistake. I'll correct that now. The one thing you want to do is when you are working on over an existing image, and this goes for anything, any kind of project, whether you're making a logo or you are making some kind of other design of your own, if you're creating your own vector art on top, you always want to drop the transparency of the original image. It just allows you to know where you completed the work and where you still have stuff to get done. So what we're going to do is we hit Format Options. Under Format Options, you're going to pull this lever all the way up until you get to a faded out version of it. It doesn't have to be completely transparent, but get it up at least close to halfway. Even if you bring it right at 50%, that should be perfect. Okay. Now, I'm going to do my next layer. I'm going to worry about these variations of colors a little bit later because I want to teach you about how to ensure that your layers in their proper order and how do you do that in Google Drawings. So the next thing is, remember, obviously, I'm sorry I didn't go over this, but we're going to make sure we're on this polyline version of the drawing of the line if you did forget. The reason why we want to do that is so then this way we can kind of like create our own shapes. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start down here. And here's the reason why. See this like angle that I have here? I have to represent that. So I'm going to actually start up here. And I am going to draw that little loop that's there. I'm going to go past a little bit, then come back. And then I'm going to come down. And then we're going to essentially do the same thing on the other side when we come all the way back around. We got to go back to that very first starting point right there. But that will be made easy now that we have created it ahead of time. Now I can guess at what this is. I kind of want to do what I believe it's going to look like, whatever is going to make it look nice. Now you can see how slow I'm going. And the reason why I'm going slow is one, I don't want to mess up. And two, I don't want to click too fast because then my shape's going to finish before I want it to finish. And because of that, I'll have to restart this whole shape. So I don't want to go fast with this. That's the only thing bad about Google Drawings. If you click too quickly, it will end your shape way too early, and then you have to start the shape over because otherwise you're just not going to have this outline that we want. So I'm mentioning the outline. The nice thing is as we are creating this, we get to, after the fact, come in and add the outline afterwards. So we don't have to worry about it just now. But the nice thing is that Google Drawings makes it really nice, easy to add a outline. All we have to do is just click that button next to the little border color. Click that. That's the border weight. We drop this down to 24 pixels, and you can see we start to have a nice, strong border around it. And we can do that for our other one in a second. Now, because I did this one first, this one will always stay behind this one unless I purposely go into the settings and change the order. So the nice thing is now that I've done this body, I can pull it off to the side. And that will allow me now to view where the eyeball or the viewing area of the body, where that's going to be. Okay. And I don't have to worry about the interference of this. Now, because I'm adding this shape after the fact, it will be on top of this one permanently. So that means that I don't have to worry about drawing this and it losing it because of being underneath this. When I decide to move this one back, it'll automatically like sandwich between. So I go to draw my next shape. Again, you're going to make sure that you are drawing nice down in the middle. I'm going to go a little bit faster just for time's sake. I don't want you guys spending all of your viewing time of this video of just watching me the entire time drawing. Not fair. Now, look at what I did here. Now you can see I have some sharper edges. You can do one of two things. Most likely, if you have too sharp of edges, you're just going to have to delete that layer and redo it. But if you double click on the line area, you'll get these which are called nodes. And that will allow you to kind of just adjust it just a little bit, or maybe they're not as sharp. If you just kind of like spread them all out, just enough just to smooth it out a little bit, because you may have just accidentally clicked just a little too much or too little or whatever it may be. Just be careful ahead of time so you don't have to go back and make those adjustments because they will be noticeable. Okay, so now when I go to move this one back, it's automatically going to be sandwiched between the backpack and the eyeball area. Now, I have to choose my color. So as I said before, we were doing the pink one, so I'm going to choose a pink. So I'm actually going to kind of stay with this range. I can choose a color. So like if I wanted to do custom, what I would suggest first before you do that is pick the darker color. So it's darker. Then click on the fiddle, hit custom, and that will allow you to change it to the color that you want in that scheme. Okay. It's kind of weird to say that, but it works a lot easier if you do it that way. So if I wanted pink, I would do somewhere around there, hit OK, boom, perfect. Now, that actually kind of looks a little bit more like the lighter version. So I might actually want to go a little darker. So I'm going to hit the custom again. And this time around, I'm just going to come in a diagonal and just pull this little guy down. And that will make it so this way my color is darker. That's a little bit closer to what they have. You can mess around with it and make it perfect if you want to, but for time's sake, I'm just going to color my person in. Now, don't do the eye area. Notice that we want to try to keep it these colors. I actually probably need to go back and fix this one because this one's a little bit too light. So I'm going to wind up having to fix that. Speaking of which, I'll make it a little bit darker. So you can see that it's a little bit more of a tealer gray versus like a blue. So I can always choose this one and then do a custom color where maybe I add a little bit more green to it, come down a little bit more into the grays, probably somewhere around there. That looks similar, maybe even darker. So I hit my custom color again, come down even further, hit OK. That's probably right on the money. All right. So now we do the highlights. Okay. The highlights are a little bit harder, but not too hard. What we're going to do is we're going to do that polyline again. I know that my I have a highlight here. I have a highlight in the whole entire like chest, top of head area here, and then on the top right here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull this off to the side. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And then I am going to draw that area. I want to use a half decent amount of points here, like clicks. Here's why. The Among Us thickness of the border is a little bit more than ours, but we max out at 24 pixels. I'm going to turn the border off on this one because I already have the borders. I want to choose my lighter color, and I want to move this person or this part of the body back. Now, it obviously is not aligned correctly, so I have to move it, but I want to make sure that I don't mess up this border and make it uneven. So this is where when you double click, you get all these little dots called nodes. We're going to drag them and we're going to make them go right up to that line, but not go past it. Now, for this side, it's not going to matter as much because what we're going to do is we're going to send this one further back. So what I do is I right click on this, I hit order, and I hit send backwards. And I do that again until this black line is now in front of that one. I can tell by just pulling it over, good, it's underneath. I'm going to hit undo, so now it's not messed up. It looks like I need to make a little adjustment there. Yep, perfect. Okay, I don't necessarily like that point that's right there, but you know what? It's already there in the backpack, so I'll leave it. Do the same steps now for the chest area of your character. We're going to move this over. We are going to click our lines. Remember, you're going to go slower than I am. I'm just for time purposes. I am going a little bit slower, or a little bit faster rather. You're going to go a little bit slower. Click a bunch of times so you have those nice points. You are going to drop the border. Move this person. I'm sorry. We're going to move this back. So now we want to make sure that this is in front of the backpack where it needs to be. And then this, we're going to bring over to the side a little bit further up. Here we go. No, lighten the color. We're going to start sending it backwards. So right click and then order. Now there's a little shortcut. I think it's Control down for you guys on the Chromebooks. That's an easier, and then Control up would be to move it forward. So again, Control down, it goes back. Control up, it goes forward. That's a little shortcut for you that Google Drawings allows you to do. Now you are definitely going to want to make sure that your lines are matching up to the edge where it's supposed to go. So wherever those lines were, I think it cuts in a little bit here. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. Yep, it actually does. I can see it right there. So again, you don't want these strong points that I have. So make sure that you are taking that into account when you are drawing, that you're on those curves. You add a lot of points. So then this way you don't have those pointed edges like I do. And then lastly, we need to do two more shapes. We're going to do first the shape for the first transition. So we have the shadow, then the midtone, and then the highlight. So we're going to add this next one. This is where you want to go slow right on top, because this one, we don't have to worry about changing the order because it is already already on top. Now I messed up because I went too far. I wasn't paying attention because I didn't remove any of this. I just was taking a wild guess. So let me start over. You're better off moving these over. They're all in order, so you don't have to worry about having them misplaced. You just have to put them right back in the correct place afterwards. Go a little further up and trace this. It's better to be accurate on the bottom part, and then we can fix the sides where it's going to touch the border. Now I messed up. I clicked too fast. You're going to have the same issue if you go too fast like I was. Make sure that you don't have any points. Make sure you go into it, do a bunch of points, but make sure you add a little space between each click, because if you don't, you're going to end your shape too early. I'm going to move this shape over, and then I'm going to adjust it afterwards because I have to do that highlight still. I might as well do it while all the pieces are moved. There's no reason to move them back and then have them move them back again. Let's switch that one to white. Now, what we are going to do, we are going to start moving these back. Put them in the order that they're supposed to be. You can see how they fit right back into where they need to go. Make sure you drop the borders where there are the highlights so you don't have that thick line that's not supposed to be there. And then again, we are going to start shaping this up. Now, it looks like I maybe put it a little high and a little over. So I'm just going to like bring it down first, and then I'm going to reshape it so it's less movement. And I can get a little more accurate. But on yours, you're going to take your time. Now, after you create your person, it is now your duty to go through. You can add a hat, you can add a pet, you can add an additional body if you want to, whatever it may be. If you want to add a pet, research them. Type in Among Us pets in Google, or you can do the hats, whatever it may be, and research them, pull them into this project, add them in, and yeah, you have it. Now, you can notice that there is the shadow underneath your person. You don't have to do that one, but it is definitely something, since we're not like having them do anything actively, might be something to do it so it looks a little more realistic. So, but that is the project. Have fun with it. Do not turn in just a normal character like this. I want you to add a hat, add a pet, add whatever. You can, as I said, add additional things. So like if you wanted to create one of the bodies and put them behind them, whatever you want to do, but just don't turn in just a plain old Among Us character. I want to see some variation. So hope you have fun with this and enjoy it, and let me know if you have any questions.